seasoned business professional, Marg is an award-winning business development strategist and keynote speaker. As Australia's top connector, Marg calls herself a human lead magnet, enabling her to create business opportunities for her clients by attracting leads as opposed to going out and seeking them. Marg prides herself on helping her clients connect with their customers on a more human-to-human level, and this is achieved through the connector's mindset. A mindset which has seen Marg be featured on the front page of CEO Scoop and awarded the Global Business Top Strategist for 2024. Today you'll learn about the importance of connection in the modern world of marketing and its impact on business development, its differences to networking, which is a word that so many of us despise. You'll also learn about the experiences that have shaped Marg's career and get an insight into her upcoming speaking tours across the US and Europe. Let's welcome Marg to the pod. Marg, fantastic to have you here this afternoon. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really good. And it's nice and warm outside, so I'm happy, yeah.
That time we've got some summer heat coming through.
That's right.
And the thunderstorms tomorrow, so back to Melbourne once again.
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Really looking forward to having a chat today. You've got an extensive background in business, and I would deem you being Australia's first and only connector coach. Mm-hmm. So really intrigued to learn a bit more about that side of things and the difference between networking and connection. Mm-hmm. But why do you think connection is so important in the modern age of marketing?
Because at the end of the day, we're people. And at the heart of every conversation, every deal, every collaboration, every partnership is a connection. And without it, like, you can communicate and not connect. We were talking about that before,
yes,
that you've got to be a good communicator. But the fact is that a good communicator would listen as much as speak. And so given the fact that we now are living in what we call a me economy, it means it's more and more important that people are going to buy you or before your product or your service.
Sure.
Right? They're buying you. So you might be going, well, what is the me economy? Well, the me economy is all about the fact that consumers today want to take more control over their over how they're marketed to, over their data, over their ability to decide who they will trust to be able to give them the product and service that is quintessentially them. The me economy demands that you know your customer at the deepest level than ever before that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because we talk about customer service, and we were just talking about Greg Smith before, and he was talking about the customer experience. Well, it's a bit like that. It's an experience of you. So given the fact that at the moment we're in a situation where the world is so unstable, we've got a lot of information, we now have a situation where change is so rapid with AI and technology. Every global report that I've read on marketing, branding, lead generation, business development, all say it cannot keep up with the way or the rapid rate of change that human behaviour, buyer behaviour, the psychology of the consumer is changing so rapidly that we're at a situation now that unless you're in the life of that person and understand them inside out, and everyone's got their own stuff that's going on. Yeah. So you can't put them all in one bucket. Like, I remember a business strategist said to me, well, what you do is you go on Facebook or you go on Instagram or LinkedIn, and then you send out a lead magnet, and then you get them all into one bucket. Mm. But in that bucket is all different types of people.
Well, you're putting people in a bucket based on their demographic, not their psychographics, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. So the modern marketer has to understand this concept of the me economy, and the modern marketer also has to understand that we can't go back to the good old days where we used to do business pre-2000s, but it is creeping back. If you go to look at a HR list of skills, they want people who can connect, people who are good communicators. It's coming back. There is a lot of talk on LinkedIn and Forbes magazine, you name it. Even McKinsey are talking about leaders have to learn how to connect within to be a good leader. So the word connection is a buzzword, but unless you really understand the deep meaning of connection and live it and walk your talk and have that mindset, it ain't going to work.
So do you think because it is such a buzzword, connection's up there with authenticity at the moment in terms of being the trend that everyone's talking about, for good reason, of course, as well. Do you think that it's kind of got a bit of a grey area to it, the word connection? So people say, oh, I'm going to connect with my customers, I need to forge connections. Do they actually know, or do you think that they actually know the definition of what connection actually means, or they're just trying to do something thinking that it's connection, but in reality it might not be as deep as they need to actually go?
I think you're right. I think that they know they have to do that, but they don't know how. You know, looking at your age group, for example, you are the only generation that's grown up from the time that you were born, and at the time I think you were in about 10, you had a smartphone in your hand. The Gen Z are our next customer. They're craving connection, right? They're craving it. They actually are a bit sick of this whole everybody knowing their business or having to have this persona. So when you think about your new customer that's coming up, they're growing up. They, you know, in the next couple of years, the last year 12s yesterday, they're going to be a customer in 3 or 4 years. They probably are already, right? So you've got to be able to understand that they can see fakeness a mile away and you go, oh, I'm a connector. No, you're not. The amount of people who actually say to me, Didier, right, oh, I know Marg Lange, right? They say they know me. No, they don't. They know of me.
Yes, they know the name. They know the face.
They don't know me.
Yes.
If you have to be able to spend time with me and for me to trust you, to let you in, to know me.
Yes.
And when I post on LinkedIn, I had someone who I don't really speak to that often, and he said to me, Marg, you're all over the shop. But he said, at least you're authentic. We know you. We know what's going on in your life. You're showing us your journey, and you're not scared to say that, you know, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're doing this. Because some people would go, I would never say that because I would never let people in because that would mean that I am obviously not the success. I'm saying I'm doing this and actually over here I'm doing that. We hide those parts of ourselves. And I've had other Gen Z people say, you know what I like about you most, Marg? And I go, why? And they say, even we have conversations like this, you're open and honest and transparent. That's connection. Yeah. It's not like, oh, I've got I know 10,000 followers. Do you know I know people have got 20,000 followers looking for new business and can't win it over. It's crap. It's bullshit.
Yeah, the numbers don't matter. The quality of the numbers matter.
The quality of the numbers, which is in a small percentage, and even if someone's following this podcast, it doesn't mean they're going to employ me or contract me. No. They're just resonating with me, and that's the thing about this question. True connection is you're relatable. You resonate. You are funny. You actually, this is why I love TikTok so much, because when I see those things on TikTok and they go, oh, this is the boomer at work, this is the millennial at work, and this is the Gen Z, and it's so true.
Yes, it is.
It is so true.
It touches it straight to the core every time.
It does. I love it.
So talking about networking versus connecting, that's an area that people get mixed up a lot. They think networking is connecting and vice versa, but it's complete contrast. So what are the key differences between those two areas, do you think?
Well, networking is definitely surface level. when I and I really struggle as a connector with surface level. It's very self-serving. Like I went to one where just the other night, okay, and it's pitched as real conversations, but we did a speed deep networking thing, right? I've never done that before, by the way. And as I was going around doing the 3 minutes, we had prompting questions, right? So it was great. We didn't have to pitch, right? So we did prompting things. But I could see the pain on the face of people saying the same thing over and over and over.
What do you do?
Going, oh, I hate
you work
doing
with?
this. I hate doing this. And it was just absolutely eye-opening to watch someone painfully talk about, go, so why did you become a member? I'm curious. And then you could see it was just this robotic answer that was coming out. And you could see it was like, can you get the limelight off me? I don't want to talk about myself. Now, that person is a connector. That's the difference. Networkers love to tell you everything about themselves, not let you in, but tell you the, what do you call it? The Maya windows of their life, which sounds all very, very, very good, but it sort of doesn't lead anywhere, right? So, look, I'll share this story. So, in 2018, I was starting again. I had a traumatic experience with my business, which you'll probably ask me about that later down when you ask me the question about why I started Marg Lange Change Agency. But I was going to this network. I thought, well, I've got to get myself out there again, right? So, and this is the thing. We've got to go out there and we've got to network. Networking is actually a noun, believe it or not. It's a group of people. That's a network.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah,
Connecting
that makes
is
sense.
the verb. Mm-hmm. And nobody does it. Very few. So when you are going a networking, often what happens is when I started out, I thought I was a really good networker, right? This is before I knew. Look, I'm a born connector, but I've been trained in networking.
Sure, makes sense because that's
Does
what
that make
everyone
sense?
That's what everyone leans in towards.
So then I met this guy called Mel White, and Mel says to me, "Okay, Marg, well, what we'll do is, how about?" I said, "I really want to get good at this because I need to build my new business, right?" So he says, "I'm going to come and introduce you to this person." So he takes me to this person, he introduces you, and she says, "What do you do?" Well, I told her my life story. I chewed her ear off for about at least 10 minutes. And then after that, she said, "Oh, okay." Nothing really came back. So I went and he said, Marg. He goes, "Marg, she only asked what you did. She didn't ask you for your life story." And that was because I was so used to talking about myself. I had no self-awareness. And he said, and he taught me this really valuable lesson. He says, networkers don't do this, but connectors do. He says, you say it within, 10, 15 words. You just say what you do in 10, 15 words. And then you say, enough about me. What interests me more is about you. He says, you take the limelight off you and you put it on them. Colette Carlson, who is a human behaviour specialist, she says, become the human highlighter in a networking room, which means you're highlighting them,
Right.
not you.
Sure.
Right?
Putting them on the pedestal.
Put them on the pedestal. And guess what happens? People love talking about themselves.
Of course they do. Who doesn't?
That's right. And then and what is happening is that as you're asking a question, then you go, oh, so you ask another question. He says, imagine they're they're on an island and there's a moat and there's a drawbridge. The more you ask questions, what will happen is this drawbridge comes down and they let you in. A little bit more of you comes in, right? So that is what a connector does. But a networker, no. They will go, what do you do? Because they don't know what else to say. And I remember once someone asked me, because I hate that, I just hate it because it's called subtitles, ask me for your pitch, right? What's your pitch? I don't want to do that. I'd rather know more about the person, right? So I said, oh, well, at 6 o'clock in the morning, I do coffee. They went. I didn't know what to, I caught them off guard. They didn't know what to say next. I remember times I've been at networking events, and this is why I'm talking about surface level, where I ask them all about themselves, And then I stand there and then I do this. And inside my head, I'm going, in a minute, they're going to get it. They're going to ask me a question. And I wait and I wait and I wait because they don't know to ask questions, to be curious, to lean in, to get to the deep core of who I am. Why am I here? So that is pretty much the difference between networking is, you know, surface level conversations, don't go deep, there for yourself. It's like the numbers. Let's go as many as we can, get the numbers, because one person is going to be there who might be my customer, whereas a connector will go there from a genuine love of people, wanting to help, will act on that. Because you know what I hate the most, Didier? I hate it when people go, right, they give you the card. Well, yeah, we must catch up. So I just, you know what I do now? I wait.
Yeah, wait for them to call you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Guess what?
They don't do it.
No.
They don't do it.
They're all over me like a rash sometimes. Or sometimes they're all over me like a rash, and they will. And when they find out that I don't give them what they're looking for straight away, I'm the one night stand. And I hate it. So, yeah. So this is why connection, people are craving it. We're in an uncertain world. There's no trust. People are in pain. And if you have someone in your corner who will act and will listen, there is no marketing strategy like it.
Yeah.
It's like attraction marketing meets personal brand, because you are your own brand. You are your own market. It's sort of like, it's like the market of Marg and the market of Didier before it's the market of Fix or Media or Get the Lead.
Yes. Yeah. I remember having a conversation with someone one day after being at a networking event, and we came out of there and they go, oh, I spoke with this person, this person, this person, this person, this person. Would have been 10, 15, 20 different people that they listed off. And I go, oh yeah, I spoke with 2 or 3 people. And they're like, oh, only 2 or 3. We had 2-3 hours to chat. I was like, yeah, just 2 or 3 people. And they're going through, like, how could you have done that? You got all these people here and you spoke with 3 people. I'm like, yeah, but with those 3 people, I was able to get a lot more deeper with them. Question, answer, question, follow up. Yes, that was interesting. Go deeper, go deeper, go deeper. Versus them, as you say, they're testing the service. What do you do? Well, I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this. Here's my business card, on to the next one.
That's right.
And that transaction for them is business card collected, perfect. They know me now, supposedly, know me in with quotation marks, and on to the next person. But they don't know you.
No, they don't.
And
no, they don't.
What do you do when you get a business card? I'll tell you what I do. I have a drawer on my desk. I go to an event somewhere. Someone gives me their card. Perfect. Into my blazer pocket when I get home. Into the drawer. I don't look at that drawer. It just sits in there.
I do too.
Same thing.
I do too.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is that when I'm out and about, it's not the card, it's the conversation.
Yes. And you remember the conversation. You don't remember the card.
But can I give you a little tip?
Please.
All right. Do you know when the card works well? So let's say, and this is when I do like a targeted relationship plan for a client. And so let's say that client was in construction. And I've met some people with construction. I take them out and I've got them all here.
Sure.
So then I take the card out and then I just do my little stalking.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
And then I go, right, you're the person I need to meet. And I went, I have no idea. I can't remember. It's been 5 years. So what I'll do is I'll take out that card, then I get my phone. Something about holding that card, there's something about the vibrational energy in there. It sort of connects people together. So as I sit there and they go, good afternoon, Bob Jones, I go, Bob, you're not going to believe who this is. And I stop.
Builds the intrigue.
And he goes, I've got no idea who this guy is, right? And then I go, it's Marg Lange. Do you remember me? And they go, you can tell, they're going, oh no, who's this? Oh, quick, who is this person? They're quickly on the container. They're just scanning, trying to go, oh my God, because I don't want to look embarrassed, right?
Yeah.
And then I go, do you know what? You popped into my mind the other day, and I thought, no, it's been at least 2 or 3 years. I found your business card, and I've got it in my hand. And for the life of me, I can't remember where I met. Now I'm just going. So what I do is I do the embarrassing thing that breaks the ice, and then next thing you know, they're going, "Oh, could it been such and such?" And I go, "Yeah, it probably was. It probably was. Do you remember me? I remember you. We must have had a really good conversation because you gave me your card. You wouldn't have given me a card if it wasn't a good conversation." And so that goes, oh, can you remember what we talked about? I go, not really, but anyway, how are you? I do something like that, right? I don't like it when people just give me a number, and that's happened to me before, and there's another tip. This is how I do it, right? So this is my accountant, Darren. I needed a business broker for a client. I said, Darren, I need the best business broker that you know. Tell me so I can have the confidence to make the call. So, good afternoon, Michael King. I go, Michael, you don't know me. My name's Marg Lange. I've just been on the phone to Darren. Do you know what he said about you? He goes, what? Right? And now he's interested in what Darren said.
Of course, because it's
right?
about him, yeah.
And I go, he told me you were the best business broker in Melbourne. Is that right? I asked the question. He then he's not going to deny it.
No, you can't back down from that. It's a big claim.
And then he likes me instantly because, number one, I've not rung and said, you know, the traditional, hi, my name's Marg. I'm ringing because I need something. I need something from you. Give it to me.
Yeah.
Give it to me.
Transactional,
Yes,
not relationship.
Give it to me.
I'll give you some money, you give me your service, that's it, done.
That's it. Move on. And so now every time that I call and I go, hey, Michael, he remembers the compliment that I actually gave him.
Yes.
He remembers that someone trusted him enough to send me his way. And so, you know, even today, I rang up, I texted, sometimes I text, sometimes I call.
Sure.
I know this person's busy. And I basically said to this person, I haven't spoken to them for 4 years. And I said, G'day, Adam. It's Marg Lange. Probably not in my contact list, but you're in mine. That's how I started. Hope everything's going well. God, where's the time gone? Hey, mate, I've got a guy, had dinner with him last night. He's been working in training up to run petrol stations. And last time I remember you were building them. And I said, are you still doing that? I hope you are. Fingers crossed. I said, because he's been shafted by a mate. So I'm talking in real human terms, shafted by a mate, not surface level.
Not corporate jargon.
No.
Yeah.
No.
As if you're a best mate, just having a chat over a beer or coffee or whatever it is and just talking that way. Yeah.
I did that this morning, right? I had the dinner last night. I acted. I did this morning. Guess what happened? He can't help me, but he's got the person who can, and he gave me his phone number.
There you go.
Because he trusts me. Because I have a relationship with him. So I said to him, in reciprocation, well, must be my shout when you're free for a drink.
Yeah, and then you have, whether or not it happens, you've got that in the back of your minds that there's something coming further down the line.
Yes.
Irrespective if it ends up happening or not.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because I'm not there I'm not here for my gain.
Yes.
I'm here to build the relationship.
So I'm really interested. I've got a little bit of insight, of course, from when we worked together last year. But what opportunities have you created for your clients over the years through the connector mindset as opposed to the general networking approach?
Well, just in terms of, I'm just trying to think of all the people I've helped. So if I go back to 2018, I was doing 1 day a week for someone in cyber. I was doing 2 days a week with someone in technology. I was doing 1 day a week with someone in mortgage broking. And they all asked me to do things for different purposes. So, for example, for the cybersecurity guy, he wanted me to get him in front of accountants, architects, and lawyers. So, I picked up the phone. Funny about that.
Yes.
I just picked up the phone and I actually spoke into the phone and I connected on the phone. And I remember I got him fully booked. I just went in the directory and started calling. And I got him fully booked because of the way that I can connect over the phone. One thing I did do is I read Jeb Blount's cold calling section of fanatical prospecting and I followed it. It's funny when you follow instructions, actually work. And so I got him fully booked for presentations. That was the gig, right? And I rewrote the website copy and did blog posts and did the Facebook group because he was a techie and he was not a people person,
Sure.
right? So that was one. The other one was to launch an arm of a technology business offshore, trying to raise the profile of the offshore staff that they had and writing some articles. So that was more writing that I did. But I had to launch I had to find these people and launch the actual, it was called Technology Integrators Australia, was the name of it, TIA. And so given the fact that I was able to bring all these people together, and I guess that's my gift, because Malcolm Gladwell in The Tipping Point, when I stumbled over that book and I read what a connector was, I went, oh, I've been like that all my life. Yeah. I've been able, since 12 is when it started, my ability to grab people together, to influence them to come on board with my idea, and they just come. They just come. Yeah. Right? Now, you might go, well, because I know you've got questions you're going to ask me about the connector mindset, and I've got coaching courses that I did on how to do this. I remember people saying to me, well, you can do it and I can't, so I want you to do it for me. But it wasn't until I read the book by Ryan Powell and Scott Gerber, Stop Networking and Start Building Relationships That Matter, basically said you can teach this stuff. So back to Malcolm Gladwell, he actually says, which is quite funny because we had a pandemic, but he actually says that connectors have this influence that they can actually create a virus-style idea and make it go viral and bring like a big mass of people to the table through connection. And they do it through connecting people. He also says mavens do it through ideas. Now, I'm an ideas slash, so I'm a maven slash connector. Right. So they do it through, you know, when you go to somebody and you go, oh my God, that was the best hour I spent. We brainstormed and we did things, and this guy thought outside the box that I would never have ever thought about it in that way. And then you've got more to go on with because the idea is going to spread like wildfire. Yeah. Right? So I can sort of get the idea. I can get the idea, make it spread like wildfire, and I can also then bring the people through my network and convince them to come and convince them to trust me that I'm doing the right thing for the right reason. So when you think about that as marketing, let's put that in the context of marketing, the modern marketing, where we're in an age where people are switched off. Overloaded business owner, no space, is trying to pitch or sell or market to. Consumer, overloaded, no space. It's a bit stupid. It is a bit. But when you think about it, if you could adopt the principles I'm talking about and create this this strategy through connection and bring the masses together, isn't that what marketing is all about? Is bringing your market closer, getting in front of your market? Isn't that what we're all supposed to be doing? So I find it really interesting that we're going through this time now where the market is getting more power. The consumer in this me economy goes, you better know me. And if you don't, I'm not, no. In fact, okay, for example, I'm going to Nashville, as you know. I'm now starting to panic because I don't need a travel agent. I can do this myself. And now I'm worried that I've booked Melbourne to Hawaii via Sydney, and I'm going to have to get off that Sydney airport, and I don't know how to get to international, and I've got a connecting flight, and I might have to get my bag. I'm now go, what have I done?
Yeah.
But that is me. I now want to do it myself. And plus, because I'm velocity points mad, I don't care about insurance and registration. Registration, you've got to pick roads. But I now shop according to my rewards. It's all about me, right? Because I don't believe that any superannuation, insurance, whatever, is outstanding. I reckon they're all got their own spin on it.
Sure.
So that's a good example of that concept. So, yeah.
Let's talk about Nashville, because that's
Let's talk about-
an exciting prospect that's coming up very soon.
Yes, it is.
And it's it's a small part of a larger picture that is a very exciting period of your life right now. So for those that are unaware, you've recently won the top business strategist for 2024 globally, which is massive recognition. So congrats on that.
Thank you.
Then you've also been featured on the front page of CEO Scoop on the front cover.
I know.
Massive again. And now you've been asked to speak in Nashville, and you're asked to speak in Paris as well.
No, I'm not. I'm speaking in Nashville. I'm being honoured on stage.
Oh, right.
But I'm going to be in the room of the top experts and the top minds. You've got to be in the right room. Sad thing about networking, people go to the wrong rooms.
Yes.
You've got to be in the right room.
Definitely.
So I've found the room. I'm in the room. I can't believe it. And part of this award that I've won is a free membership for life, where they actually facilitate the networking events, and they're doing our own conferences. And of course, you know that I want to go down the speaking route. And I've gone, how on earth did I manifest this? And the point being is, I did it because I'm just me.
That's it.
How effortless is that?
Effortless. It's amazing how simple it is when you don't have to put on a facade to people.
Exactly.
And you just turn up.
Mind you, I have had my, am I really that good? Am I? Like, I don't have a lot of money in the bank. I have a lot of money up in here.
Yes.
And the reason why I don't have a lot of money in my bank is because I met all the wrong men. That's another story, another podcast. But having said that, is that the wisdom that I have up in here, the way that I show up on LinkedIn, they're always looking for the inspiration. We live in a world where people just want hope and inspiration and a fresh approach. And I think that's what I bring to the table, and that's what they saw, because they actually said, I can't wait to see the video where they say why they chose me. But they just said it was just when the panel found me, they found me. They didn't talk to me. I didn't know they existed. I thought it was a scam.
Of course you would.
I thought it was a scam. Like, really? But that goes to show you that you need to have the technology, and you need to put yourself out there in a way that connects you authentically, knowing they're not necessarily going to be commenting, but they're watching.
Yes. Silent majority.
And resonating. So yes, so Nashville, I'm going. So the point being about Nashville is that I would like to speak at their conference, and don't you worry, I'm already working on how I'm going to get myself on stage at one of their conferences in 2025.
Love that.
Because I've already started. The situation is now, they don't go home, Marg. They go, hello, gorgeous, or hello, beautiful, or hello, babe. And we've got that sort of vibe going on now that I know, I bet you they don't speak, because the way that I have promoted them through my shock horror that I won, they love that. That's what they want. Yeah. So I'm giving it to them.
Get the attention.
Yeah, I'm giving it to them. And they love that, and they can see that. But not everyone just goes, oh, thank you, look at me, I'm so good. But I don't operate like that. So Nashville, Paris, I may do next year. That was, unfortunately, Paris is going to now clash with the Nashville one. So Paris is hopefully going to be next year. I hope the world is a safe place to travel. This is my only other concern.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if 12 months' time a lot of things change up in Europe.
We'll see. Yeah, that's right. I don't know. Like, I'm dying to get there, but I'm not. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
So before we even talk about more about where you are right now and what's happening right now, I'm very interested to know everything that's gone before, because as you touched on there, 2018 coming through, then you've had your ups and downs with what's going on in your life there. So let's speak a little bit around that. What have you experienced over those years, and how do you think that has impacted the path that you're on now?
I reckon the short answer, it's a long story. The short answer is that through all my trials and tribulations, it's all those painful gifts that I've gone through and the lessons I've learned has sent me in lots of detours. As I said, I've worked in cyber, I've worked in finance. I ended up working, bought my own FIFO Capital franchise. I'd come out of a divorce, wrong side 40, unemployable. I thought, I'll buy myself a job. Knew nothing about finance. I knew what happened in the family business, because in the family business, it was back in 2002 where it hit a cash flow, a really big cash flow problem that my husband, he hid from me. And that just ended at the marriage. And we had a really brilliant business in corporate entertainment. So corporate entertainment, event management, cyber, finance, all of these different teaching, prior to that, all these different industries give me different perspectives. And then because I'm a good listener and I can stand back and observe what is, like I sort of know what I now know what's going on in education, right?
Sure.
If I'm driving down to Mornington, right, and I said I made 3 phone calls, how's it going? How's it going for you? So I know that my contact up in Queensland, who's got an ice creamery business, I know what's going on. I know all the problems of that. It's because I keep in contact. So I guess the reason why I'm valuable is because I've been in a number of different ecosystems. I know how they work. I know the connections that I've made are good connections that will act for me. It means, therefore, that what I bring to the table is up-to-date information about what's going on, what are the pain points, what are the opportunities, and then put that strategy around that. It's a bit like I knew instantly that when we worked together, I had to get Steve Dart. I just knew it.
Yeah.
I just know the people, right? Even this morning when I was speaking to the person I spoke to last night about the petrol stations, right? He got shafted. Now I'm going to speak and have a drink with Adam. How's the petrol industry going? I'll find out, right? Because I'm in the know, it makes it easier for me to have a perspective that's right on point. I'm never off point. As opposed to the good old days where we all had to get lead magnets, we had to think about the avatar, we had to create a sales funnel, then we had to do email marketing, and all of that was just second guessing. It was second guessing.
And it still is today.
And it still is today.
As important as it is still second guessing. You can't know for certain. You're taking your educated guess, your best educated guess.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a bit like I said to my friend, the fact that he's now going to be connected to a high flyer in the oil industry, petroleum, right? He's going to say that he got the number from me. I'll have a conversation. I'll go, how'd it go? I'll find out more information through that. And then I said to him, to thank me, all you have to do is go on LinkedIn, drop me a recommendation and say Marg Lange is better than Seek.
Love that.
It's true. It's quicker.
Relatively easy. Doesn't cost you anything.
No cover letter involved, no resume. Straight in, mate.
Gonna put that on your new website later on.
I was
on the
thinking
header, Marg Lange better than Seek.
Exactly. Because when I was thinking speaking and then I was speaking to Don, who works in solar, and he goes, "Oh, mate, see, this is the thing. What I have created for myself is that when you're in the shit, go see Marg." Right?
Yes.
So Don's like, you know what? You are right. When he got retrenched from a solar, a solar business, that was a big retrenchment, and a number of them got retrenched. And he goes, "Oh, I don't know how I'm going to get another job. Do you know of anybody?" And I said, "Well, I don't know of a lot in solar. My daughter worked in solar for a while. I don't know a lot in solar, but mate, you know a lot in solar. Your network's there. You don't need more." It's the other thing is that a connector we don't go out and find more contacts. We just leverage what we've got. Steve was in my network. It's how we got into that boardroom. He knew that other person who used to work there, and you had a thought.
Yes.
Like, we had inside information.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful.
It was. It was very beautiful. And then Dan Andrews came along. And
I know.
we won't talk on that. We won't
We
talk
won't
on that.
We won't that.
Bloody Dan. So let's talk about show me how to get the lead. Or get the lead.
Get the lead, yeah.
That's been your brand for a number of years now.
Yeah.
After Marg Lange
Change agency, yeah.
And you've just revamped your website. So
Yeah.
where are you seeing things move now?
Well, the thing is you know what the great thing is that we're supposed to evolve as human beings, right? So Marg Lange Change Agency, where did that come from? Well, it was 2019, and you may remember we went into lockdown in January 2020, and I launched it in October 2019.
Not the best time.
No, well, I didn't know it was coming. I didn't know that we were
course.
going to have all those,
No one could see what was going to
No
come.
one could see it was coming. And the reason why I called it Marg Lange Change Agency is because I had read that Malcolm Gladwell tipping point about how I can bring massive change and impact. And you know what? One of the buzzwords today is impact. It's being used in the schools, that we want to teach our kids for impact. We've got a lot of social justice causes out there now where you will see businesses who market will talk about well-being. There was one on just recently about retirement living, and they were talking about connection and well-being. Isn't that interesting? Those two words are coming back because they know, everyone's done the studies and the surveys, and whether it's, Morgan Research? Whether it's Morgan Research or whether it's Accenture or McKinsey, the ones that do the global surveys, Coles do it, I do the surveys sometimes, they know their customers' mind, they get inside here and they know where it's going. So I thought Marg Lange Change Agency, because I had been doing also a lot of reading about personal branding at the time. So I thought, right. And in fact, I was probably ahead of my time in that regard back in 2019, bringing up the personal branding. So using my name, not understanding that people buy you before they buy your product and service. So I knew that I had people that respected me and thought that I was trustworthy. So Marg Lange Change, I bring positive impact, I bring change, and I've got an agency of people behind me that you can trust. Right, so that's where Marg Lange Change Agency come. People think, oh, so you're change management. And I go, no, because change management is all about processes and systems, and we're going to create change in it's all very data-driven. Operational, HR. But no, I was just like, I am a change agent. I'm a connector. That's what we do. We change your circumstances. We make your life better. Most people would say, if they were, I feel like I'm pitching now, I'm talking about myself, but people say that they are better off for having me in their life. They're better off for a number of different reasons. So Marg Lange Change Agency was that. So someone said to me, you know what you're really good at? And I said, what? He said, get out of the finance. I said, don't do that. He said, you're good at getting an idea and launching it and making sure people come. That's what you're good at. So I then went, okay, I'm going to have an idea to launch to make change in our world to be better. So that was my target market. If you've got an idea, when you want to make impact, because there was a lot of talk about that at the time,
Sure.
and you want to leave the world in a better place, and Simon Sinek and your why, and all of that, right? Then I am the person to make it happen. I'm the catalyst of change. So that's where that happened. And then lockdown happened and I was stuffed because I was trying to say the best way to get change and do this quickly and launch a product is to network. And then I couldn't network.
Yeah.
So then I went, okay, what will I do now? I still can change the situation. And then people were talking a lot about pivoting. So then I just went, all right, I'll call it from survival to relaunch. Same concept. You're going from survival, you need a new idea, and you're going to relaunch. And in that, I had a lot of success. So in terms of doing some market research online, just like these global companies do, I did the research for the market, for their markets. Their future customer, I found them in my networks. Because people, when I say, do you want to come and do research? Yeah, sure. They trust me, right? I said, you get them a gift. Don't pick their brains and don't give them anything. Their present customer and their past customer, the one that didn't return. So the future customer is the one that they want. The present customer could be return business.
Sure.
And the past one was I went once and I can come back. And then I find out exactly what they all think. And I put their eyeballs on your website, eyeballs on your Facebook, eyeballs on you. And then I go, tell me, would you buy from these people? And then they usually go, no. And then I go, why not? And then they tell me why. And then what do they have to do to win your business? The market's always been in charge. We just haven't bothered to do that. Too many people have a great idea. They don't do their market research. They fall into the trap of being this marketing. We just follow marketing 101. We get a sales funnel, we do the email marketing, we do SEO, we do all that stuff, and then we wonder why we go broke. And then we go, right, now we need a coach. Then we spend more money.
Yeah.
We need a course. We spend more money. Okay, right, this person, this next shiny, and go broke. So I guess my point being is that I took like a retreat business, physical business. They couldn't operate. So they came to me and I went and spoke to all their customers. I found out what their customers wanted in the pandemic. What can we give them now? Right, this is what we did. So then we did a big strategy on what we could do. And then they said, but we want to get bigger. And I go, okay, who do you think who needs you right now? And they went, the ladies in Brighton who can't do their nails. I go, no. Oh, no. No. I said, first responders. The people who are in masks and they're sweating and they're around disease and they're stressed and there's no beds available. That's who needs you now. I said, why don't you do an online version of your retreat for them? And they go, well, that's going to cost a lot. So I said, well, we'll get a sponsor. And they said, that's a good idea. So that was what I did. So then I went, who am I going to think about who's going to be a sponsor? Who would sponsor hospitals? So then I started Googling, right, who's big business, who's involved in, then I found unions, found nurses, I found about the that choir that was on Current Affair called the Scrub Choir.
Okay, yep.
The Scrub Choir. Okay, Scrub Choir, online retreat. Oh, now I'm going, okay. So then I went to my change agency and I put it to them. And then John Ross, who is a debt collector, he goes, you need to speak to Gordon. He started the New Lung Foundation. He's in the hospitals. He's so well connected. I spoke to him and he goes, you need to speak to Aware Super. And this is what you say. Because this is what they're talking about. They're all talking about mental health. And I went, okay. And so he connected me. I said what he said because he had the context. I didn't. And next thing you know, I won over $10,000 in 2 weeks.
There you go.
that's sort of just the enormity of what I did in a lockdown. And the other thing too I wanted to touch on in this interview was that I feel that when you get involved, and people don't get involved in today, that's a problem. But when you get involved, when I was involved with the Victorian Chamber of Commerce, and I'm in these breakout rooms on Zoom with, someone from the Herald and Weekly Times, and they've got AOAM next to their name, and they're wanting to listen to what I say. Wow, I'm now in a room with these people listening to my point of view, forming a connection and building relationship. Fiona Sweetman's how I met her. And I know, and I just have this vision. I could just sort of go, right, that person, that moment, they're thinking this. I just have this capacity to then bring out a strategy for the right reasons where people will come. Yeah. So get the lead was the other part of that question. So get the lead. Marg Lange Change ANC, talking about survival to relaunch, lost its momentum when lockdown ended. Sure. People were sick of it. Do not talk about the word pivot. So then I had to then reinvent myself again. What they want is to build their businesses again. So get the lead came out of that.
So it's almost in the space of 2.5, 3 years, you've gone through 3 different transformations.
I have.
Within the business.
I have.
Yeah.
I have. And this whole new website that I have built is when I've realised that during lockdown, people were hungry for knowledge, right? They had the time to do the courses. Too busy now, don't want it.
Yeah.
So that's why I've got rid of it. I'm no longer a targeted lead generator, go do it for you. I'm no longer Australia's only connector coach because I believe that people don't have the time or the headspace to learn something. And that's not all people. I'd say it's most.
Yeah.
There will be some that
There's always an exception.
There's always an exception. Yeah. So I believe that the reason why I've now decided to become a business strategy consultant is because up in here, the strategy is spot on. If I was to say, right, to actually to nail this, you have to become this other person. No, I don't want to do that. Yeah. That's a big ask. That's like asking people to rewrite the whole script in their head and tell a different story, and not everyone's going to do that. So I've realised that now. So I'm a born teacher, I'm a born educator, and I've done it all through my businesses. So yes, I will happily coach still, because if it helps build my reputation and helps me get to the next step that in my life, because I always believe that the whole game of business is like playing baseball. Hit the ball, you get to first base. Sometimes they drop the ball and you've got to, or they get the ball before you, and you've got to run back, right? Yes. And then you're doing all that, get under the, Sure. So, but then you go from here, you go, right, I got that far, now I want to go to that base. And then there's a strategy for that. You got to know when to run and when to run back.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, and then sometimes you hit a home run. So that's basically why I think I can see where people's mindsets and behaviours are going. They don't want it. Like the amount of people out there that says, I want to work with life coach, I want to live with coaches and consultants. Oh, and there's so many of them out there on LinkedIn.
A lot. There's so many.
They keep contacting me about how many leads they can get me, and they don't even bother to ask me the fact that I can do it myself. But the fact is that they've got all this, this pitchiness around coaches and consultants. And so therefore, unfortunately, it's going to get one of those tacky feels if I was to say I'm a coach, I'm a connect coach. No, don't need you.
Yeah. It's starting to get that aura, for want of a better word, around being an online coach, guru,
yes,
etc., etc. There's very, very few out there now that you can look at and you can say wholeheartedly, I trust this person, I believe in what they're saying, because so many of them, and perhaps it's the rise of social media that's caused it. You've got 21-year-old coaches out there at the moment.
I know. Sorry.
I'm 21. what the fuck do I know?
Exactly. That's right.
I'm not going
yeah.
to be sitting out here coaching people.
No, I know. And what I love about what you just said, you're so honest. And it's, it's so love. That's what I love Jen said. You're honest and you say it how it is. But the fact is that when someone sits there and they go, you know what you're doing wrong, and I go, really? Tell me. Like you haven't been through life.
Exactly right. Exactly right.
You've got to give me this strategy and you don't know my life. You don't know how I hobble out of bed because I'm full of arthritis. Like, really? Yeah, that's right. I'll go down and I'll do 6 push-ups and no, come on, no. It's like you've got this is it, it's a box, it's inflexible, and it's your own fault because you're not doing as I say, but I only have my version of it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. One perspective and that's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You touched on next step just before. What's that next step for you?
So now I'm hoping to work with Courageous because what I love about that company is that I will be learning so much through this next role. Imagine it's like being not on Shark Tank where you're in the company of the elite of that collective wisdom, but I tell you what, so imagine that in Australia, being in the company and being able to have those conversations and growing through that. Being able to go, well, I'm connected to some pretty top people. That makes me more valuable. That excites me. And the other thing is that through the IATOP, which is the International Association of Top Professionals, I'm already started the girly group of what you're going to wear, and I'm meeting them all online, working out how we're going to meet up in Tennessee. But I'm really I'm going to the networking drinks that I wasn't going to go to because I'm going to be jet lagged. And someone said it's a one in a lifetime opportunity. You're spending all this money to go. Go. All right. Okay. I'm going.
That's fair.
I'm going. And I'm looking forward to getting my down under packs. I'm ordering those. I'm going to have them sent to my hotel room, so I don't have to take my luggage. And I'm just looking forward to seeing their faces when they open up the boxes, and then there's the violet crumbles and the Vegemite and the twisties and the lollies and that sort of thing. So that I know that is going to endear me to them, and that is going to open up doors, because the idea is to be able to be talking from stage on this point about connection in terms of your life. Because work and life is just so murky, isn't it? It's a bit like this. So if we can, in a world where human connection is diminishing, if I can unapologetically say we've got to master the art of connection again. We've got to start again.
Yeah.
We do. And if I can travel the world when it's safe,
Of course.
get a bit of money whilst the wisdom comes out of my mouth, I can't think of anything better than that. And I didn't know I was going to end up like that when I was 12. I wanted to be an interior decorator. Mum said, you've got to be a school teacher. But I ended up being a good one. So I think teaching is just innately in me as much as the connection.
They almost go into hands, though.
You know what?
They do, don't they?
I was thinking that just as I said it. I think they do. Yeah. Being able to tell a good story where you are able to connect to someone who could not understand that concept if you didn't tell a good story is really, really important, because we learn through stories.
We do. Everything we do through stories. Learn, we make decisions based off of it. You talk about brand films, that's a story there, and you're trying to articulate someone into doing an action. That's the storyline there.
That's
And
exactly right.
we learn through it, we teach through it. And when you go on the macro, you look at things from the macro perspective, our individual lives are stories anyway. So along the line, what are we learning from our life? Well, you're learning everything that you've learned because you've experienced it. You can look at that from that macro perspective and say, well, you're learning from the story of your life.
That's right.
Different perspective, perhaps.
which is then connected back to your purpose and
Exactly
your why.
right. Yeah.
And then you're living it. And then you're aligned. Oh, so good.
Love it. Love it. Marg, as we finish up this afternoon, I've got 2 questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
Can I answer these based on your business life, personal life, however you please? But the first question is, what is the biggest lesson that you've learnt over your career as a marketer? But we're going to hyphen that, if you want, with connector, business owner, etc. And then the second question, what one tip would you give someone who's completely fresh to marketing to improve by 1% today?
Okay. So the first one, my greatest lesson is that you don't get a second chance at a first impression. You never do. People sum you up in the first, was it 5 seconds?
I think it's 5 seconds, yeah.
It's either 5 or 3.
It's not much.
It's not much. You don't get a second chance on that. So being aware being self-aware of how you're showing up is really important. As I told you the story about me being so unaware. So that's the first thing. So that was my greatest lesson. And then for the tip for those fresh to marketing, I would say is value connection skills and invest in yourself to get good at it if you are struggling. Like if you can't pick up the phone, go find a way or something to be able to do that. If you struggle being at a meeting, you're a young person in a boardroom, you've got to go to a meeting, and there's plenty of TikTok funny videos on that. But the truth of the matter is that feeling of isolation. We have Gen Z are known as the most isolated and lonely generation of all time, and that is our number one killer. So don't do it just for your business. Do it for survival. Do it for having a great life, because everybody is stronger together, and you're only what is the saying, Didier? You're only as good as the sum total of the people in your life. Make sure you have the right ones in there.
Yes. And traditionally, it's the 5 people that you hang around most.
That's right.
But you've got that in both a personal and a business context. So
That's exactly
you've got the 5
right.
people that you're friendly with, and then you've got the 5 people that you interact with the most business-wise.
That's right.
Yeah, or professional-wise.
That's right. Yes, that's exactly right. And so from that perspective, is the tip that I would give someone. Surround your people with the right people, but you've got to be able to be good with people to know, because there'll be some people in there that are very good at wearing the mask.
Yes, and they've always got an underlying objective to get out of you, and you've got to be able to pick that up.
That's right, because they'll take advantage. So that would be the tip that I would give.
Love it.
All right.
Well, thank you, Marg. I really appreciate your time. It's been great to chat and learn a bit more. I knew a little bit about everything that's gone on in the past, but to uncover that a little bit more, and I'm really excited to hear about this Nashville trip. It sounds very exciting, and you've got a lot going on, which is awesome.
Yeah, okay, thank you so much.